When we say we are women, we mean that we are brave, we are strong, we are capable, we are unique, we are woman to woman. Here, conversations breathe. Here, honesty feels safe. Here, women speak and everyone listens. Because in this space, every thought is welcomed, every feeling is understood, and every experience carries weight. It's where quiet strength becomes loud, where transparency becomes power, and where the truth is never too much. This is her moment. This is her voice. This is Conversations with Her.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Good afternoon, Africa. We have started this new podcast, Into Woman to Woman. Once a month, you're going to have Conversing with Her. And today we brought Denise. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Welcome to Woman.
Thank you.
We have a task, a mission today, because we are going to talk about something that was very present in your life, that almost took you to total destruction, but we can't openly say the word. Mm-hmm. And that is something funny, because even bringing awareness, bringing what it's behind, we can't use the word. In principle, it seems for protection of minors, of content out there. But to a certain extent, for us who work with awareness, it limits us to say what it needs to be said. But I'm sure our audience is very smart. They are going to pick in no time. Before we go into the topic of today, and just to give you a hint, we're talking about adult content. We're talking about sexual material available in social media that is being explored, and it has been causing, to a certain level, dependence and addiction. Mm-hmm. We need to understand, where did all start for you, Denise? Mm-hmm. So give us a little bit of your childhood.
Okay, so my childhood, I was raised by a single mother. My mother and father...
And by the way, Denise is a Briton.
Yes, I'm originally from the United Kingdom. I was born and raised in London. So I think when I was about 2 years old, my mum and dad, they split up. And then my mum was a single parent raising me. So the dynamics at home was me and my mum. My mum started to suffer from depression. I think she really struggled after she had me, and the decline of the relationship with my father. And then she started to develop depression. Of course, as a child, you don't understand what is depression. And it's something that I didn't really see. But there were days that I would see my mum, she's not in her moods. She used to say, today, I'm not in my moods. She would give me the remote of the TV. She would make sure that there's food, and then she would kind of isolate herself in her room. Sometimes that could be for a few days. So,
how old were you by then?
From maybe like 5, 6, 7.
Alone at home?
Yes.
You were literally alone because she was locked in her room.
Yes. And you would go in the room and it would be dark. So I wouldn't really understand. I would just understand, today mummy's not in her moods. But there would be times that, you would want to be with your mum. You would get excited, like, mummy, I want to show you this. I want to show you that. And it would be that thing of mummy's not in her moods, or she would just close the door in my face. And then it would be a thing of, let me just go and watch TV. So being a curious child, sometimes, and I'm sure we've all had these experiences growing up, when we are watching TV with our family and maybe a kissing scene comes on the TV, and your parents will say, close your eyes, or a family member would say, close your eyes.
They have the remote.
Yes, and they're already...
Move forward.
Yes, move forward So, you would be curious, why is my mom always telling me, close my eyes, turn this way, look down, or she would even get a pillow, put like this. So it would lead me as a child to be very curious. And children, of course, if you don't explain things to us, we become very curious of what is going on? Why can't I see this? So that is how it was for me first. So then there was a day I was watching TV. And back in the days, I remember until 9 p.m., it was like child-friendly TV. And then after 9 p.m. would be...
Those were old days.
Yes, those were the old days. Then from 9 p.m., you would start to see maybe more explicit programs or films with maybe kissing scenes and things like this. So the things now that my mom was telling me not to, I was like, oh, is this what she meant when she didn't want me to see?
Because in those days, she was not there with you.
Yes.
So it gives me a sense that you have a very unstable childhood, because some days she would be okay and monitoring you, but other days you would stay on TV until late.
Yes.
And for days, you would not realize what you were watching or what content you were receiving in your brain, in your mind, and trying to deal with that content.
Yes. So I used to watch. I would late, and I was a very responsible child. So I knew the time to go to bed, to wake up. So I think with that, my mum maybe never thought the need to kind of push me to do things, because I was that child that was quite independent, that I knew what I needed to do. So anyway, I used to watch. Then from there, I would stay up, especially when it would be the holidays. And now you can stay up later, because I don't know if you would remember, but back in the days, 9 p.m. would start off with maybe soft programs.
Yes, because 9 p.m. was time for kids to go to sleep.
Yes. So it would start off with soft programs. But now as you spend later watching the TV, then some things start to pop up. And that's exactly the first time that I saw, like, I think it was 11 p.m. Oof, it was very explicit, very in my face. And I was like, wow, what is this? And I when I was looking at the images on the screen, even, I was like, wow, my body's not like this. Of course, I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So my body wasn't like this, but it was just the curiosity from watching things from 9 p.m. turned into now the things watching from 11 p.m. And then when I would go, maybe not to school, but maybe I would go with cousins and friends, and then they would also share the same things. And sometimes maybe a family member or a friend, they would say, no, my parent has even, what's the one that we used to have back in the days? Not DVD, it would be not the cassette. It was
such a long time. Yes.
The video.
The videos.
Yes.
We would even hire videos at the video shops.
Yes. So like parents would have videos, and of course they would hide it from the children, but children being very curious will take those videos and put it in. So now we were very young, and it would be like an excitement. Oh, I watched this. We're not understanding, even at that time, an 8-year-old is not understanding the depth of what is happening. But
it was by that age that you started being exposed to mature content, to adult content, and explicit content. Not really understanding, but looking at it. And I want you to think that we're talking about a couple of years later. So our kids, and adults inclusive, they have much easier access to those contents today, because we are a generation of social media, of cell phones. And I liked very much because slang out there says the harmful clicks. And they are indeed toxic and harmful clicks. In those days, you had to get hold of magazines, videos, not that easy. But what you saw at the age of 8 years old, what that triggered in your mind?
It triggered in my mind that there's something that I need, that in there, they have and I don't. Because remember, by then I had mentioned to you that my mum was going through a lot of things. And for me, it was like, okay, my environment, I know it's not normal, but this is my environment that I'm in. So there was always in the back of my mind that there maybe is something missing in my reality. And I felt like the explicit content that I was watching was what was missing. And
if I understood correctly, it was the time that your mother was withdrawing even further.
yes, because there would be times now that she would maybe go out and then she would leave me. Like, of course, like maybe you would go to maybe an auntie's house and the kids are all together. But I could see that my mum was trying, at least, because she knew she wasn't okay, but she wouldn't want me to be exposed to that. But her kind of trying to cover the way that she was
had no
feeling,
idea.
She had no idea that it was impacting me because...
And you also mentioned that your brother gave you magazines?
No, it was an uncle.
An uncle?
He didn't give me magazines. I found his magazines. I found his magazines under the bed. And again, it was something. Now, today, I understand that that magazine was very popular in those days.
Not for kids, though.
Not for kids, but it would be, again, that thing I kept under the bed. So my uncle left it there and I kept it there. So, yeah, I was exposed to that along with watching on TV these things.
8-year-old, what were your thoughts?
It was exciting at 8 years old because I wasn't, for me, it was like, wow, they must be really enjoying whatever they're doing. And maybe I'm missing something. I really felt as an 8-year-old, maybe I'm missing something because I'm not doing this. I'm supposed to be doing this, right? Because of what I'm seeing on the content that I was watching. So for me, my mindset in the beginning was it's normal and I'm supposed to be doing this. But I never had the courage to go and go so far in the beginning in what I would see when I would watch things on TV.
It didn't come to your mind that you were a child, and in principle, those who were interacting there, they were adults, or would you somehow see young characters also in those movies and that content?
Yes. You would see young people. You would even see maybe someone dressed up in school uniform or looking like a child. So you would think...
all sort of harmful ideas behind the scenes you saw.
Yes. So at times you would think maybe some things are normal. Maybe you're walking down the street and you see a young lady with an older man and you would think it's normal because of the things that you would see.
So your values changed.
Yes, but the values changed here, not with my mouth, because I still used to have that fear of growing up, you learn to do things like this. You don't have sex before marriage. You know, I was brought up with those principles, and my mum would go from church to church. So I would hear, no, if I do this, then
it's wrong.
It's wrong, and even God will punish you. I would hear those things. So I had the consciousness of, okay, I can't do certain things like this. But now what I'm watching, it's so appealing. Like, no, maybe what I'm hearing or I'm being taught is wrong, and what I'm watching is right. So I used to think, okay, our parents, they're going to say this anyway. When you go from church to church, they're going to say this anyway. But when I'm watching it, no, people look happy. People are enjoying themselves. And I remember even the first type of films I was exposed to were of like role play. So maybe it's a girl dressed up in school uniform, or someone dressed up as a maid. So it wasn't about necessarily the content, but it was more about the story.
The deed.
It wasn't about the deed. It was more about the story. Now, as a young person, you can take yourself into that story. Oh, I'm at home today and someone randomly knocks the door. And when they randomly knock the door, somebody comes in and then the deed starts from there. So growing up, it wasn't more about the act per se. it was more about the fantasy, the illusion, the way...
because it's played in a way that brings about a lot of sensation of joy, pleasure, not knowing what is behind.
Yes.
And where that sensation will be dragging you to and the consequences of it. It is appealing in the beginning. We must say it's appealing. And that is the trap, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
So from 8 years old, you start being exposed to that content, to adult content, already involve young and mature characters in the play. Did it arouse in you any feelings to discover your sexuality, your tendencies?
Yes. So from the things that I used to watch, I became very confused. That's the first thing that I want to mention, especially because I never had a father figure. I used to think that, okay, maybe a man wouldn't want me and maybe a woman will understand me better. So I used to like to watch programs more with women. Women, because it would be like woman to woman. Women understand each other on another level, not woman to woman, our program. But like a woman may understand me better. A woman may be able to meet my needs.
So you were attracted to same-sex relationships.
Yes.
Because you had in your mind that they would understand you better. You never been exposed to a father figure.
Yes. And to be honest, some of the programs that I used to watch, I used to be afraid. So I would think, no, if I do the deed with a man, it's going to hurt. Or I would just think of myself and I would think, oh no, I can't do this.
It's a child's mind playing at that time.
Yes.
With adult matters.
Yes. So I can't do this. But maybe with a woman, it's not going to be so bad. So that's where, from the things that I started to watch, then that's when I was more drawn to same sex, let's kiss. It started with like little kisses, touchy there, and then full blown what I would watch. Then I started to do.
Did you engage in the deed or maybe practicing what you saw at which age?
10
years old.
Yes.
You were supposed to be playing with dolls. No.
Not anymore.
You'll be playing with human people.
Yes.
I want to give a stop here and invite you to watch, because you may think, no, I am protecting my social medias and computers well enough, and I doubt my kids will have access to this kind of content. So I want you to watch and come to the conclusion how easy it is with all the protection that we might put in place for children to access adult content.
To better understand the digital spaces children interact with every day, let's take a closer look at where risks are most common. Platforms where children face a higher risk of exposure include Snapchat. Features like disappearing photos can encourage children to share inappropriate content, while SnapMap may expose them to adult-themed public stories from around the world. TikTok. Despite content restrictions, the platform's powerful algorithm has been widely reported to expose children to mature material, including references to drugs, sexual content, and self-harm. YouTube. Concerning content, including out-second videos that misuse popular children's characters, has appeared even on YouTube Kids. Unsupervised use of the main platform increases these risks significantly. Now we're going deeper. Instagram and Facebook. Meta platforms both have faced scrutiny for exposing minors to nudity and sexualized content through features like Reels and algorithm-driven recommendations. Instagram has also been identified in reports as a platform commonly used in online grooming cases. Discord, Roblox, and Twitch. Even gaming and streaming platforms carry risks. Discord's chat features can enable grooming, while Roblox and Twitch may expose children to unmoderated language or inappropriate imagery through chats and live streams. Telegram and WhatsApp. When used without supervision, open groups and channels on these messaging apps can expose children to adult content or extremist material.
Denise, at the age, you see how easy it is still today for children to have access to what they should not. Actually, not even adults. And we are going to explore what is behind that many people out there don't know. But let us wait and see. 10-year-old, you start putting into practice what you saw.
Yes.
Initially, with other girls.
Yes.
How did it evolve and why?
So I would have those moments, and then at some point I would stop myself because I'm like, this is wrong. So I would never allow myself to go.
Okay. You had a sense that it was not okay, though it would bring some excitement.
Yes. So there would be a cutoff point that I'll be like, okay, we need to stop here. Then the curiosity builds up again. Okay, let's go. Then we go a bit further. Then, okay, we cut off again. And then slowly it became like full-blown everything. But it's something that I didn't speak much about. I explored it when I was 10. I never spoke about it much from there. So now, and then I remember, especially the family friend that I used to explore with the most, we kind of parted ways after that, especially when I was going to start high school. So it was a chapter that was always like a question mark in my mind. So I would go and watch that content more than even like maybe like a man and a woman, but I would never vocalize it. Because in those days, it wasn't something that was normal. People would watch, but they would never talk about it.
But until today, it is very much in disguise.
Yes. And it was something that it was always playing in my mind. So even in school, maybe they would make jokes, and in my mind, I would even laugh about it. But there would be those thoughts that would run through my mind, or like, you can't laugh about this when you've done this type of thing. So anyway, so from the age of, that was like coming up until 10, and I just wanted to unalive myself. I felt like being around it.
So now you were a little bit into depression.
Yes.
And not understanding why.
No.
Not even understanding yourself.
No.
You would have the desire to watch more of that content.
Yes.
And now it was not bringing any satisfaction. And you thought that putting it to an end would help you to have some peace.
Yes. And
at the age of 10.
Yes. And I remember there were times at the age of 10 even that I would be afraid to complete, like to cut too deep. So sometimes I would think, okay, if I cut like a vein, and I don't want to die, but let me get too close to death. Because maybe if I go to the hospital, someone is going to like wake up out of their sleep.
It was a silence shout for help.
Yes. Like I wanted to just someone to come and save me.
Someone to pay attention on you.
Yes. And I really felt really down from 10 onwards, especially because around that time is when I lost contact completely with my dad. So like there were times I used to really look forward to standing outside of, like, you know, when you're a child and you're looking at the window, looking at the parents ready to collect you. And I would wait for that moment for my dad to come and collect me. And from the age of 10, he never came again to collect me. So that was like a big thing for me as well, because at least if my mum was going through things, I would look forward to my dad coming, because it would mean, wow, someone's going to give me attention. They're going to buy me whatever I want. The love that I was really searching for. So even when, I would be with another girl, it would be that thing of the love again. You're going to understand me better because we're the same. So you're going to understand maybe the void that I'm feeling, the emptiness that I'm feeling. So then the suicidal thoughts came strong. They came strong. In the beginning, it was something I couldn't really understand. I just felt like I wanted to unalive myself. I didn't understand. There would just be days that I would cry. And you're 10, you're not understanding so much your emotions.
You never
your
thought
feelings.
about turning to your mom and asking for help?
No, because I've always felt like a burden. I felt like her burden because it was just the two of us. So when I would
you at in instance believe or made yourself to believe that the reason for her not to be in her moods was because of you?
Yes, because at times...
You brought upon yourself.
Yes, because at times maybe she would have an episode and she would just say things, very hurtful things like, you see, you're stupid, you're the reason why I'm suffering, you're the reason why my life's like this. She never meant it, but in the moment of her being in that mode, she never cared. She just would speak. She would speak. And those things I would keep with me.
Of course.
It's true. The way we are living, the hardships we're going through is because of me. If I wasn't here, then things would be better. So it's a burden that I kind of kept to myself. I used to always tell myself that I'm not going to be a burden to my mum. And that actually made me become very independent. I was already young and I was already doing things by myself, but I really told myself I'm going to be very independent. When I was 16, I was already working. I was already bringing money home. I already told myself I'm never going to depend on my mum. I don't need to depend on anyone. And it started from there. Because I felt like I'm a burden. So I'm not going to be a burden for anybody. So then, as I said, throughout the years, from 10 onwards, those thoughts, the desires of really not wanting to be around anymore, they were lingering and they were developing. And then I went to high school. And when I was in high school, I got bullied. I got bullied because I was a bit chubby. I used to like to eat a lot of food when I was younger. So I was chubby and I had a lot of acne. And in school, kids are mean. So they used to really pick on me, call me burnt potato, blick potato.
Oh my gosh.
We used to have a toilet, and on the toilet, on the walls, they would write people they didn't like. So they would draw me, someone that would be me. They'd say, "This is Denise." And they would just say swear words, horrible things. So that used to really make me feel down again, because it's like, okay, at home, I don't feel like I'm loved and I'm wanted. But even at school, like I never felt like I was good enough for anybody. So I used to...
And at the same time, you would have another side of you feeding yourself with those contents.
Yes.
Because now you became dependent.
Yes, of course, because now when I'm with my mum, I don't feel like that. When I'm at school, I don't. But now when I wait until late and I can just go into a world. I can escape from my reality and I can just go into a world.
It became your refuge.
I became my refuge. I could now create. Even now, after maybe I would watch something, sometimes I wouldn't even need to watch something. I think it got to the point as a teenager that sometimes I would sit in my room for hours and I would make a movie in my mind. I would make a movie.
With all that explicit content.
Yes. So I'd make a movie in my mind. Okay, I'm walking today and I'm wearing maybe a rah-rah skirt and I'm wearing maybe a boob tube and I'm walking and I'm walking maybe slow, and then I meet someone and they grab me. Literally in my mind, I would create like a story. And that movie could be like, when you're watching a movie for 2 hours, 3 hours, I could create that movie for 2-3 hours. And
at that stage, did you go over the limits and you already allowed some kind of violence into the picture?
Yes, but
self-inflicted violence?
Yes, but this was a bit later on.
Oh, later, not at this stage.
Yes.
But I want you to notice that it goes from one step to the other. It starts with a small content. You use the word snip, just some small, short videos, but then it goes into long videos,
Yes.
photos, and it led her to believe that joy was in having a relationship with another girl who would understand her. Then this addictive content, I often say how dangerous it is, because you don't need to be exposed to new content. What you saw, it's so much registered, imprinted in your mind, that you can play it over and over
In your mind.
and have the same sensation.
And
But just
that even
because it
pushes
is
you.
addictive, you need a stronger shot of it.
And that's where now going to watch. So it could start with maybe in my mind, thinking, okay, I create the fantasy and everything, but it gets to a point now where you're like, it's not enough anymore. And then when it's not enough anymore, you're like, now I need to go and watch it. And then you prepare yourself to go and watch. So that was how things were, especially going from primary to high school. That's how things were. And then when I got to high school, I was introduced to online dating. Online dating is not something from today. And I have to make that clear, because
Don't give him your age.
yes, but this was something of like more than 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And in those days, I'm from London, so it was a bit more developed in terms of there was internet in the house, the dialing. For those are from that generation, we know about how long the internet would take for it to run.
Not Wi-Fi, but at least you had cables, wires,
Yes.
and dialing.
So for me, I used to go to the internet cafe, and it was me and my friend. We were like, no, we're going to go. We're going to speak to people. That's how it started off. Like it was more of like a new thing of social media. So it was like, no, we're going to go pay £1. It'll be for an hour, and we're going to go and speak to people. So that was the idea in the beginning. Like, we're going to speak to people, get to know people. And for me, I was excited because I was an only child. I don't really talk to people much at school. I never had
a former version of the chat rooms that we have today.
Yes. So, and it was called a Teen Spot. So it was now for teens that can go and talk and interact with people, and you could speak to anyone around the world. So I was in London. At times I would speak to someone in America, speak to someone in Asia, depending on the time of the day. And you go there, you create your profile. So now this is the part that got a bit interesting. So I used to actually catfish. I have to confess my sins. I used
Don't give them ideas.
So I used to create like fake accounts. So remember, I never felt that I was good enough. I was worthy enough. So I would never put my picture, because I'm not good enough to speak to a guy of maybe certain calibers. That's how I used to think about myself. So I was 13 years old, and I created an identity of
13 years old. First of all, you should not have been allowed in an internet cafe at that age.
But there were many of us at that time. We were, because we would either go and watch that, or we would talk to people on MSN Messenger. So we were there, and we would, interact with people. I used to get pictures from, it wasn't Google in that time. I don't know what it was, but I used to go on the internet, and I would type in mixed race lady, model. I used to say mixed race model. I would say beautiful hair, wearing a bikini. And then I would put that as my profile picture. And then, how old are you? Then I would say...
But that was not your profile picture.
No, not at all. And I would get maybe the same person, and I was very good with the internet. So I would get that same person, and I would see they have 2-3 pictures. So then I would take those 2-3 pictures, and then I would put it...
Impersonating someone's profile.
Yes. So then I would put those 2-3 pictures on my page for you to see, no, it's real. It's not just one picture. There's about 2-3 pictures of the same person there. So then I would I changed my name. So my name wasn't Denise. I used more my middle name, Claire. So I used Claire. I changed my surname, my date of birth. I was a different person on...
You portrayed to be someone older?
Yes. I was someone older. I was a model. I was exotic looking. I was what I used to watch on my explicit movies and programs that I would see on TV. So I created this profile of this lady. And when I would talk, I would just imagine talking, like, how would this lady talk if she was talking to this guy on maybe social, or if she was face to face with him, how would she talk? What would she say? So in the beginning, I was teasing, you could say, because I wasn't going to do anything, but I would say things, and then it would become a thing of role playing, even on when you're typing, because now the person may say, "What are you wearing today?" And I'm wearing my school uniform, but I wouldn't say I'm wearing my school uniform. I am wearing something red. And then the person says, And then it's now another form of what you are watching. Because again, I spoke a lot about in the beginning, the fantasies. You are creating an image, you are creating like an environment. So through now the online, it's now me creating exactly that environment with no strings attached, because when my internet finishes after 1 hour, it's goodbye and I'll be here tomorrow if you want to speak tomorrow type of thing. So it was no strings attached, but then it was another form of what I was watching. But now I could do it with somebody.
You were creating content based on what you watched.
Yes. But with somebody that I don't need to see, I don't need to touch, but we have a connection because I'm speaking to you and you're talking to me back.
Did you ever meet one of those ladies or guys you were exchanging messages with?
Not one.
Not.
I had a relationship though.
How did you change your mind from being attracted to girls and now making concessions and interacting with guys?
So for me, I just put it in the back of my mind. I grew up in a generation where we never used to talk about these things. We wouldn't express thoughts or feelings or desires that we would have. So in school, it's wrong. You would see people get picked on, bullied really bad, even if they showed tendencies of certain things. So I just pushed it at the back of my mind. And I was like, right now, this is not for me. But it didn't mean that those desires stopped, because I would go to watch things to do with girls. I would entertain thoughts of just girls, but to act upon it, I would put it aside more because of the environment that I was in.
So because the tendency was to interact with guys.
Yes.
And somehow there was bullying to those who were interacting with ladies of same sex.
Yeah.
So it did not mean you understood it was not for you. You just put it in the back of your mind and said, I'm not going to make it public.
Yes. So that was my little secret. Along with when I would watch things or would interact with people, it was my little secret that I just never used to speak about.
When did you start considering other sex relationships?
So I was around 13, 14 years old. So it was around that same period. And as I said, throughout the years, the thing of wanting to unalive myself became worse because it went from thoughts and feelings to, you would hear another friend at school say, no, I also want to unalive myself. And she would say, no, I took tablets. And then I think, okay, let me try also doing what she did. Then I would mix tablets and then it wouldn't work. And then I would start cutting my wrists.
So you tried?
Yeah, I tried. I tried like multiple times. I would maybe wash something and I would break it by on purpose and I would slip my stomach. Some I still have till today, like the one on my stomach, I still have until today. So I really did try and it never would work. Then I remember the last time that I tried. The last time I tried, it didn't work. And then my mum found me. And then when she found me, she was like, what's going on? At first, she thought I was just being silly and then she wanted to do something to me. But then afterwards, she found out, no, something is really not right with me. And that was the first time that I ever opened up to her and I said, no, I just want to unalive myself. And then I kind of poured out myself that day to my mum. My mum never really that day addressed how I was feeling. She just heard what I said and said, there's no need to do this. But me actually confronting me and asking me, why do I feel like this? And you don't need to do this, these type of things. No, she just said, you don't need to do this and everything like that. And I saw from that point onwards, she saw that the things that she was going through was affecting me. She never said it, But she did. And she started to change now even the way that she would behave. So now she wouldn't do things so openly. Now she would kind of segregate herself more. And I believe it was a way of maybe she thinking...
Trying to protect you.
Her thinking that she was going to protect me, but it wasn't her protecting me. It was now me feeling more secluded, because now it's like, you don't want me even more. You're going away. You're leaving me. Like for days and weeks, you are going and like you've left me. You're trying to get yourself better, but at the cost of leaving me behind. So that is when, for me, it was like, okay, I'm seeing friends in relationships. In the beginning of high school, it was, oh no, I have a boyfriend. Like if you don't have a boyfriend, then you're not it type of thing. So I didn't have a boyfriend. I was very scared to have a boyfriend. As I mentioned before, I was very scared of the things that I used to see when it came to men and women. So I would be like, ish, if I go there, then I'm scared. So I remember when I was 13, I had my first relationship with a boy and we just kissed. And I even remember kissing him and I was thinking to myself, what am I doing? Because it was nothing like what I watched on TV. Nothing like I watched. And I was like, is this it? So then the curiosity came, okay, now let me try and go for another guy that now was like the dream guy, maybe in my fantasy. So there was this guy, I was 14 years old. And he was in the neighborhood. He was like your dream guy. Like in those days, we used to watch, we used to have our magazines. So it would be like Word Up magazine and, oh gosh, I can't remember the other ones. But it would be those magazines that would have like our boy bands. So he looked like one of those guys in the boy bands that I used to watch. And I used to think, yeah, he is like my dream. And anyway, to cut the long story short, we started to talk. And now I started to do what I used to do on the internet, but now with him. But now it's someone that I will see. Whereas on the internet, when I'm talking to someone online, it's someone that I can't see. And I used to think, no, but it's an environment that I can control. So now I would make false promises like, yeah, when I see you, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And
you would use explicit language.
Yes.
Language that you learned from watching adult content.
Yes. But I wasn't brave by then to actually do it. So anyway, I went to go and meet him. And now he was like, and then like, I'm here. And then I'm in my mind, I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Because I said this and now he's waiting. And then now there was that conflict in my mind because I always knew growing up, I used to always hear like a woman's virginity, her purity, a woman's purity is like her treasure, her treasure. And then in the back of my mind, I was thinking, but he is like the dream guy that I've always like wanted. So what better way than to give it to someone like, for him to even want me, like, wow, like what a privilege. Because that's how I used to see myself.
And of course you had to feel.
Yes.
The same sensations that you saw the characters portraying.
Yes.
In adult content, not knowing if it was true or not.
Yes.
And disclaimer, it's not true.
No.
We know what goes on behind. We know how those images are produced. We know what is at stake. We know about slavery. We know about human trafficking. We know about drugs. So it's the creation of an illusion to arise or to arose that arose some feelings.
Yes.
And you wanted to feel that.
Yes. And I thought, what better way with someone that is like your dream person of wanting to be with. So in my mind, I thought this is now going to be my fairy tale, like coming true. And we're going to do the deed and we're going to be together. We're going to be in love. And everything that I'm watching is like, it's going to be a reality. Like I had it in my mind that I'm going to do this and this is going to be like the start of something great. And it was the opposite. So we ended up doing the deed and I was just like, is this it? At first, the first thing I felt like, this is so painful. Like, this is so painful. We were both young. We were both 14 years old. We had
Oh my
no
gosh.
idea what we were doing. We had no idea what we were doing. And I was just like, is this it? But now I went home and I was just thinking to myself, I'm in pain right now. What did I just do? What did I just do? And again, it's something that I didn't really tell anybody until later on that happened. And so much so I remember that day that happened. And the next day I was now talking to him a lot and trying to speak to him a lot. And he was like, what are you doing? Like, he even insulted me that day. He said, like, no, like, fall back. And I was like, like, what do you mean, like, fall back? And it was like, you're talking too much. You're too needy. Like, just fall back. And in my mind, I was thinking, I literally, like, gave you something that was so valuable to me, and now you want nothing to do with me. The thing of rejection. And I think that was the beginning of, like, a spiral for me personally, because now I was that type of person that I needed it. Not because I liked it. I don't think I ever liked it until I got married, until I knew what that truly was.
The meaning of it.
What it truly meant. I never liked it, but it was something that it was like a hole. You know, when there's a hole in a sack, in a bag, there was a hole in my heart and I just needed to fill it with something. So now the things that I was watching, I just wanted to be that person to fill the hole, because as the years were going by, the hole was just getting bigger.
And you kept on watching adult content.
Yes, I was. But now I was acting more upon what I was watching. Mm-hmm. There's seasons that sometimes people go through where maybe they watch.
They were passive, now
they're actions. Yeah. Now they're acting upon the things that they see. So I used to have those seasons. So now I was acting upon the things that I was watching. I was changing as a person. I didn't care anymore. Now I would go out, even parties. I was even thinking about it the other day. I was like, I used to go out to a party. I never knew the guy. I never knew him. And I would meet him at a party and then we would just go.
What we would have today, one night stand.
Yes, one night stands. And I was 14. What is a 14-year-old girl doing, having one night stands? And that's how I would be. And now I would involve drinking with it and alcohol.
Did it come to your mind that you want somehow one of these guys to be depending on you? You wanted to make them to suffer, to desire you so that you could say no, back off.
Yes. So that's where I created a world for myself. Now, you see, I used to create a world, explicit world in my mind. Now I created it around me. So the way I would dress, I used to dress naked. I never used to like to wear clothes. The type of hairstyles I would do, I would have pink, purple, red. It was in your face. Piercings. I was 14 with over 10 piercings in my body.
Oh, gosh.
Then as I got older, I ended up getting tattoos and I would want to show it. I was now creating that desirable environment. When I would go out, I would make sure that I would be that person and I would walk the way that I would see those ladies that would be desirable. How would they walk? And I would start to walk like them and talk like them and behave like them. So now I was creating that world in terms of, I want you, but I don't want you to know that I want you. I want you to desire me. And I will be now in control of this environment and how everything goes.
And say back off when I want.
Yeah. But even though I know secretly deep down, I will let you in, because that is how much I needed something. I remember there's a hole that I kept saying that I needed to fill with something.
Did you enter in a more solid relationship or last-longing relationship?
Never. They were all short relationships. So it can be like 2 months, 3 months, and toxic. So it would start out very passionate, because remember, many of my relationships maybe would start with a one-night stand or would start with something, and then it's the passion in the beginning. Then after the passion dies down, now is the toxicity of things. Now I'm dealing with someone that has problems. I have problems, 2 bombshells. And I used to call myself as a teenager like a hothead. I don't know if they still use this vocabulary, but hothead is like someone that snaps very quickly, very easily. And You said what? And then the fight starts there. I'm not backing down. You're not backing down. It's like this.
Split.
Then we split.
Go your way.
You go your way, I go my way. But then if we need each other secretly, then we'll just go back just to give each other what we need. And then we go our separate ways again. So those are the
strings.
No strings attached. No strings attached.
Did you ever meet in this journey any guy who really wanted to take things seriously or not?
I did. I remember, I think I was 15. I was 15 years old.
My gosh, you get puzzled of how young she engaged into all this wild life. Yeah. And it all started at the age of 5 because of what she was exposed to.
So now I was about 15 and he was the same age. We were in school and he knew the type of lifestyle that I was living. And he, when I think about it today, he was such a sweetheart because he never judged me. He never wanted to touch me. So for me, remember that love was very tainted in the way I saw love. So he never touched me. He was actually very respectful. He was very nice. He used to wait for me and take me home. And if I needed something, he was always there for me. So for me, he was too sweet. And I was like, no, I need someone that is toxic. I need someone that's bad. I need a bad man. So that
bad boy.
Yes, a bad boy. I need a bad boy. So for me, he was too soft. He was too nice. He was too sweet. So it didn't work for me. So I actually broke his heart. Shame. When I think about it, because I remember even when I broke up with him, I used the excuse because I came to the church when I was 14 years old. So I used as an excuse to him. I said, no, I'm going to the church and I'm trying to take things serious. And, I know you don't want to go to church. So I used church as an excuse. Yeah, I used as an excuse for him.
So let us make it clear here for them to understand. You came to church, but you didn't change your ways at all.
Not at all. What's worse?
Were you still dependent on the content you were watching?
Yes.
You never stopped.
Because by then I didn't really have a conscience that it was wrong. So I got invited when I was 14 years old. Never forget how I came. And when I came, I started coming to the youth group first. And then from there started coming. And they would talk about certain things, but it wasn't connecting in my mind yet that I'm in this category or this is for me type of thing. So I never used to take things seriously. So I broke up with this sweet guy and then I broke up with him. And now I was 15. It was my 15th birthday. Just before I speak about this, because I came to the church in a very crucial time in my life. I was 14 and I had girls outside of my school that would wait for me to come and fight me. They wanted to beat me up because I used to date a lot of gangsters, guys that were involved in gangs and drug dealers. So now where my school was...
and the sweetheart you didn't want?
No, the sweetheart I didn't want. It was the one that I could die. It's the one that I wanted. So I remember outside of school, I used to have to leave school early because the girls were waiting for me. The guys from the other gang, because where my school was, it was on the crossroad. There was one gang that was that side of the road. Now where my school was where the if I could say, the opposition gang was. So now they're the girls that would ride for those boys that were in those gangs. Whatever the boys would say to those girls to do, they would do. So I was in a crossroad when I was 14 at that time of my life is in danger. I'm getting death threats. Because I even forgot to mention, just before that point with the death threats, I was dating a guy that was involved in a gang and he voice recorded us doing the deed. And he sent it round. So now what I was watching now happened to me.
You became the protagonist of.
Yes, without my consent. And it went round to all of my school. So that was the beginning of a really dark period in my life because I watched it, but now that was behind closed doors. But now someone without my consent voice records me doing something with him and then spreads it around to everyone. So it wasn't just a thing of school. People in the neighborhood, they knew there was a girl called Denise that did something with this guy. So going to school was a problem. coming out of school, now the opposition gang's like, but how did you do something with the guy? Because he was from the other gang. How did you do something with the guy from the other gang? So I was like getting death threats here. I'm having girls that want to beat me up from here because it's like I'm a betrayer. I betrayed the gang from the other side. So that is how I was invited to the church. I came running because I was like, God, if you don't help me, I'm going to die. And that is literally how I felt like I was going to die. So then I got invited, but I didn't take things serious. I didn't see anything in the church was for me. I used to have that thing of growing up. My mom, like we used to go to church when there's problems, when we need a solution. Like life is tough, and
now that I got a solution, let me live my life.
Yes, and that's exactly what happened because I came to the church and things got better. The girls that wanted to fight me, they weren't outside the school anymore. The death threats, they stopped. The people that they wanted to damage me, it stopped. There was peace when I came to the church. The first month, that was like the first time, like, wow, God, you came through. But now now my birthday came right after that. And it's like, oh, when things are good, then you forget about the savior that saved you. So that's exactly what happened, because now it was my 15th birthday and I was excited. I will never forget what I had pink. I said, no, I'm going to do pink hair. I'm going to wear, it was pink because those days we used to have Skittles. So you wear from the top of your head down the same color. So if you're wearing orange, you'd have orange in your hair, orange clothes, orange shoes.
Oh gosh.
We used to call it Skittles. So that was a trend. So I remember my 15th birthday was like this. And then I went out and I was so excited because I have my life back. I have my reputation back. I have my life back. And I'm walking down the streets of Brixton, because that's where I'm originally from, in London, called Brixton. I'm walking down the streets and who do I meet? Older men. Because the way I was dressed was 15, but I was dressed with everything out. It was hanging. And
probably you would get the inspiration for your dressing style.
Yes, from what I would wear. What I would watch. Of course. And the thing is, during those seasons, music videos was a big thing as well.
Oh, yeah.
Music videos. So you would watch those video vixens, if I can say, and the way they were, the way they would look, how desirable they would be. You would be like, no, I'm good. What I would see, I want to dress like this. I want to behave like this. Even the piercings I would get, they were very intentional. Very intentional. There's I had my stomach pierced and it was very intentional because I'm going to show my stomach.
Yeah, it was meant to show.
It was meant to show. So it was very intentional. So now from the things I would watch, music videos, now things are popping up left, right, and center. Sensuality was a big thing now being a teenager. So now I met this guy. I was 15 years old. I met this guy. I was 15. I think he was in his 20s, but he was a drug dealer and he had money. So again, I was always attracted to a lot of toxic environments and relationships. So to cut the long story short, I started a relationship with him. But now I said before, a lot of people used to use me in the wrong way. So I said to myself, okay, let me try acting like I'm so innocent. And seeing now, if I can control this environment of him, respecting me. Because by then now, if I was with people, there was no respect. Even in relationships or doing things, there was no respect. It was just do it type of thing. So now I was in this relationship with this guy. And I even said to him, no, I'm a virgin. I wasn't a virgin, but I said to him, no, I'm a virgin. I don't want to do it.
Were you not afraid of lying?
No.
To a gangster?
No. No, I wasn't afraid. I think by then I was very fearless when it came to my lies. Because as I said, that point when I was 14 years old and the person that I gave my treasure to kind of shut me down. Now I wasn't a person that...
persona.
Yes. Now I was a person that didn't feel anymore. I didn't feel anything anymore.
You were fierce.
I was just fearless. And when I think about it, I really was, because even to fight people, my goodness, I was fearless. You can be big, you can be small. I wouldn't care. It's that persona I created for myself, I really lived through it. So this guy now, he was all of these things. And now I'll say to him, no, I'm a virgin and this. And he'll be like, no, don't worry. When you're ready, I'll wait for you when you're ready. And he would try many times, no, this and that and everything like that. Now there was a day, and I want to bring the church into this, because there are times that things will happen in your life that maybe God is trying to warn you. Don't go there. Don't do this. And that day I remember specific. It was a Friday. I attended the Friday service. And I remember the pastor saying, if you are living a double life, when you go outside of the church, you have a boyfriend waiting for you. The boyfriend was waiting for me outside. He said everything that I was going to do that day. If the boyfriend waiting for you, you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision that you're going to cut it off and you're going to take God serious. So me, I left the church. As I said, those days I wasn't really taking God, the things in the church serious. I just liked the fact that when I came to the church, my immediate problems stopped. So I was like, no, I need to stay in this place because things are working out good for me. So I left the church. As soon as I left the church, I was at the door of the church. Then I called my boyfriend and I said, oh, where are you? Then he said, no, I'm at my cousin's house. Oh, where? Then he directed me on the phone where his cousin's house was. It was a place I never went to before. I'm originally from Brixton. This place was Peckham. And in those days, Brixton and Peckham, it was war. Like if you hear London, South London, those two areas was like war. So I was already in like a territory that I shouldn't have been in, but I went there just because I was going to church. So now I was there and I was quickly trying to find my way. I don't want someone to ask me, where are you from? So I found myself in this house. Till today, if you ask me, how did you get there? I can't tell you how I got there, where the place was, where I got out and I got home. I don't know these details so much because of the environment.
Your memories.
My memory was so numb. I don't know how I got out, how I got home, but I found myself in a house, this house in Peckham. I found myself in this house. So now I was there. And now they were smoking weed. Remember, I was that type of person. I was very fearless. I told myself, I've never smoked weed before, but he's smoking weed. Then, okay, because I'm fearless, I can't back down. I will also smoke. And I remember inhaling my first puff and I even coughed because I didn't know how to smoke weed. But I was like, no, I'm going to be fearless. How are you doing it? Then he was saying, no, you have to inhale it. Then I was like, okay, let me inhale it the way he's inhaling it and everything like that. And then I found myself now hallucinating. My mind was not 100%. And I was very couldn't control my body so much. I don't know what was in what I took, but it really made me not have a sense of control of my body anymore. And then from there, he was like, oh no, Denise, here's a lollipop. Let's take this lollipop. And then I was like, okay, the lollipop. And now as I'm just eating the lollipop, you're 15, you're a bit, clueless on what a person can be thinking about when you're licking a lollipop. And now he's starting to get more sensual in his talk and his touching and everything like that. And I'm already telling him, no, remember I told you I'm a virgin. I don't want to do it yet. Don't touch me. Then he was like, no, don't worry and everything like that. And now I found myself, him on top of me. And I'm like, what are you doing on top of me? I don't like it. Stop. And now remember, because I was smoking something, I'm not having control over my body. I'm talking, but now my body is not reacting to what is coming out of my mouth. So to cut the long story short, that day abuse happened.
He assaulted you
sexually.
He
assaulted me sexually. And it finished like it was nothing. I remember even as he got up and he went to the living room, I just remember being on the bed and holding my body. By then, I had been participating. In that moment, there was no participation because I didn't want to be in that environment. I didn't want that to happen. He was much older than me. It wasn't what I wanted, but I found myself in a situation where someone was taking advantage of me. And I remember I left. As I said, I don't remember how I got home. I don't remember how I got out of that area, maneuvered, I got home. And I remember when I got home, I just thought to myself, there was no thoughts of the videos, the things I used to watch, the things I used to see. It was that feeling of things like this happen to people like me. That's how I used to think. So for years, I didn't actually realize that had happened to me. I used to think, no, these things happen to people like me. So we're not going to play victim. I used to literally tell myself, we're not going to play victim. Like, I have a lifestyle. So because I have a lifestyle, these things will happen to people like me. So
it was the way you found
yes,
to make peace with what happened.
Yes. So only years later, when I had explained to someone, this happened to me, then they explained, do you realize like what actually happened to you?
It was an assault.
And then I was like, oh, really? And they're telling me the definition. And then I'm like, oh, this really did happen. So 2 weeks later after that happened, because...
And do you think somehow at that stage, you could not identify that it was an assault, sexual assault, because your mind was so full of the contents you have watched over and over, and you were still watching, that you took it, it's just another way of the deed? Because
there would be some programs that I would watch that would be very explicit and very violent.
Now you went a step ahead.
Yes, that would be violent. So now when that happened to me, it matched with what I would see, because there were times that I would watch things and it would be as violent as what happened to me. So hence why my mind would just think, no, this just happens to people like me. It's just another version of the same thing. It's not in a loving way. It's in a way that took away my dignity and my pride. But I had seen it before in things that I had watched that would be a bit violent, and maybe they would whip and they would punch and hold or grab. So I would think, okay, then this is...
So in your mind, you normalized it. Even though you felt violated, you convinced yourself,
this happens.
This is it.
This happens. And then 2 weeks later, I found out that I was having a miscarriage. The guy that violated me, he gave me like an infection. And then as I was getting rid of the infection, I didn't know that I was pregnant. So they gave me a very strong dose to like remove the infection. And then that is when I was having a miscarriage. And I didn't tell anybody about that for years, because it was like period pains. I used to get very bad period pains, but it was like period pains times 10. I don't even know, times 10, times 100. And I went to the toilet, and now it's when the fetus of the baby was coming out of me, and I saw it in the toilet. And it was very traumatizing, because remember, just 2 weeks earlier, someone had violated me. And then from someone violating me, now I'm seeing this in the toilet. And it was very small. I believe it was still forming this 2 weeks.
Of
so
course.
It was still in the very early stages. But I just remember feeling like numb. It was the same feeling, but now it was like, I definitely can't tell any of my friends about this. I can't tell my mom about this. I can't tell anyone. I'm just going to keep this to myself. So it was, again, another secret that I had that I just kept to myself. So now from there, I wasn't so much into relationships anymore, because that was a point that kind of scarred me a bit. Now I would get afraid if I'm going to go with a guy. I don't ever want to feel this pain again that I was feeling. So now I think that is when watching things it was now the season of watching things again. And within the season of watching things, I'm going to always control my environment. I think I became that person after that happened to me. I need to be in control of my environment. I need to be in control of my environment. I need to be in control in the relationship. Even if I give my body to you, I need to be in control of it. When I'm watching videos, I need to be in control of the way, when I can tell myself when to take it off, when to put it on, I need to be in control. So it changed now my mindset on things, because even my relationship with watching certain videos and explicit things, it became more of a control thing.
How would you react watching to some content that would bring the element of violence?
I would switch it off.
Or deviance?
I would switch it off. And to an extent, I would get angry that I need to do something. So the angry me would maybe go out. I need to go out partying because now it's bringing back thoughts and memories. So I'd just get angry and I need to go out. I need to do something.
But all that you have been through
Mhm.
did not make you to stop watching that content.
No.
Actually, it made you to be more dependent of it.
Yes.
Some messages meet you exactly when you need them. That's what Woman to Woman is here for. Every Friday at 3 p.m., we bring conversations that move you, challenge you, and stay with you long after the episode ends. Missed it? No stress. Our replays are just a tap away. Go to the search bar on any of these platforms: Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. Type woman-to-woman_TV, tap the official page, and hit follow or subscribe to access all our replays and updates. On WhatsApp, at woman-to-woman_TV. Freedom on Air Radio, available on Play Store and Apple Store. And yes, we made it easy. Scan the QR code and jump straight to our page. Woman to Woman, where values are treasured.
Denise, and were you still going to church?
Yes, I was. So I was doing a double up where in the church I was doing well, would come Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I would come to evangelize sometimes. But then I would go to party. Sometimes I would even go Saturday to the club, come back 5 a.m., come to the 10 o'clock service with maybe 3-4 hours sleep. Hangover. So that is how things were. I was living a double life, but in the church. And I never saw it as a problem. And usually what would maybe push me more to go and do that is maybe when I was getting to a point. So I would be maybe committed. I would participate maybe in the campaign and I was pushing myself. And spiritually speaking, I thought I was getting somewhere. And then at the point maybe where I would think I would get somewhere, either a guy would come, a desire would come, a thought would come, and then I would fall into sin. And then I would either leave the church for a few weeks, get my round of fun.
Talking about falling into sin, you would exactly fall into adult content.
Yes.
What would be the justifications you gave to yourself? Life is like this. Everyone does it. It's natural. I have needs.
For me, I think by that point, there was a point of like, anytime I would feel hurt or pain, I would like to watch it. That was like the season where that started. Because when I was around 16...
It was your reward compensation.
Yeah. And
coping mechanism.
Especially because of what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a thing of curiosity, excitement. It was a way to deal with pain. Like
now you were deep into addiction.
Yes.
And I guess by that time, clicks came by.
Mm-hmm.
And it was easy to have content.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were already working.
Mm-hmm.
You were a teenager.
Yes.
So it was easy for you to find content to feed that dependence you had.
Yes. It was very much like this. So that is where when I was in the church, I was still not understanding telling the truth.
Would you hear in the church someone speaking somehow, either against or warning about this?
Yes, I would. And especially when I was in the youth group, because in the youth group, they used to always have testimonies of people that were addicted to certain things and they changed and they became different.
Addiction.
Yeah. Many addictions. So
but
they would talk about it. It wouldn't register. And I used to always think like this, that person can change, but not me. They don't know my story. They don't know where I've come from. They don't know the suffering that I've faced. So like, it's good for them that they changed, but me, I can't change. I've tried. And then I would use those excuses of I've been in the church and I tried, but I never tried with the truth. I used to have an assistant. And she used to always say to me, Denise, like, I'm done with you because you're not sincere. Because I would speak to her and she could have that essence that I was never telling her the truth. Mm-hmm. So I had these things. No one knew how deep those things were. and I used to hide behind lies. You'll find people that are addicted, and it can not just be videos, programs, it can be any type of addiction. You'll find with addiction comes lies.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for the person to tell the truth. It's hard for the person to be honest with themselves that I am addicted to this.
Mm-hmm.
You ask a drug addict, are you addicted? Many of them will say, no, I'm not. I'm just using because I need a fix. I'm just using because I feel like I need to. But for them to actually admit that they have a problem.
Let alone with digital addiction.
Yes. So there are many people, they're like, no, I just watch. And then you speak to your friends, oh, no, I also just watch. Another person will say, oh, yeah, we all watch. So you think...
Who never saw this?
Who never saw this? So you will think it's normal. It's normal. And you will convince yourself in your mind that, no, these things is normal. So, but then you're hiding behind the lie of now you're becoming dependent on it. Now you need it. Now your life revolves around it. Now it's your way of escaping certain things.
And that was your life for years to come.
Yes.
We are at the age of 16. Let me tell you something. If you found amazing, overwhelming, and scary, you need to hear what is going to happen in the next 14 years in this timeline of Denise's life, because she only saw freedom, independence, close to the age of 30. In between, Denise became an assistant. Denise got married to a pastor, struggling with that dependence. So that you can know much more about her story, we will need to do part 2, Denise. Mm-hmm. We can't hold them much longer. I'm just going to give our audience some homework, and I will invite you to make sure those who have lived or are living in this kind of life, or are just tending to that kind of life, that they may join us next week. Because what you heard is nothing compared to what is to come. Your homework today, Ephesians 5, chapter 3. I'm not going to speak about that today. Next week, I will bring the full definition of this Bible verse that reads like this. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not even be named among you, as is fitting for saints. So there is a pattern out there that has been seeing it as normal, as part of life. That was the stage we're in, yes. Giving yourself justifications. Mm-hmm. But for the saints, for the chosen ones, should not even be named. Fact is, among us, not exactly only those who are outside, but in Christian communities, it is very present. And people are struggling against that dependence more than you can think of. You may be one. But the point of this Conversing with Her podcast is so that you find your path just like Denise did. But that will have to be for next week. Let me bless you today. Our Lord and Father, we give you thanks. And I know that for some people out there, it has been hard to hear what is happening in their lives. And I know, Father, that confronting the truth, even though we cannot use the words we should to bring awareness of such dependence, the Holy Spirit is doing the work that has to be done. Because many Christians are being defeated exactly by that kind of dependence. As they call it there, the dark feed. And darkness is being fed through digital clicks, trying to convince that it's normal, trying to convince that nothing is wrong, but not understanding the destruction that comes with it. So, my Lord, I bless and encourage all those who are going through it to seize the time. And in this first month of a new year, they make a purpose to really start a new life. So we pray that this may be the wake-up call for them to start a new life, knowing that such dependence is only bringing destruction to them from inside out. So I bless them with the strength to change it, because it's possible. In Jesus' name we pray. It is so possible that we brought Denise to tell you how she did it. Until next week, God bless you all. Bye-bye.
The first step to healing is simply reaching out. If you or someone you know needs support, email women-to-women@uckg.org.za or call 0800 330 320. Our toll-free helpline offers confidential, non-judgmental support.